Hello everyone, good day. I am Mardel Salapang and now I will be reporting about the Filipino hero myths, especially the Darangan and the story of the good Prince Bantugan. Today, I will be talking about the Filipino hero myths, the Darangan. Darangan is a Maranao epic poem from the Lake Lanao region of Mindanao, Philippines. It consists of 17 cycles with 72,000 lines in iambic tetrameter or catalectic tetrameter. Each cycle pertains to a different self-contained story, and the most notable of which deals with the exploits of the hero is Bantugan. In 2002, the Darangan was declared a National Cultural Treasure of the Philippines by the National Museum and a Provincial Treasure by the Lanao del Sur Provincial Government. The Darangan epic was also proclaimed as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity in 2005 by UNESCO, inscribed in 2008. It is the longest surviving epic poetry in the Philippines. The Darangan originates from before the conversion of the Maranao people to Islam, and this details the traditional pre-Islamic Anito religions of the Maranao. The heroes in the epic worship and interact with various ancestors and guardian spirits and even in nature spirits. Since now we will be talking about the Filipino hero myths, specifically in Darangan, we will now be talking about the story of the good Prince Bantugan. The Bantugan cycle of the Darangan has been adopted in the ballet performance Darangan in Bantugan by the Philippines Ballet Theater. Prince Bantugan is considered to be the most notable Filipino hero. The story of the good Prince Bantugan is all about a prince who lived in the kingdom of Bumbaran, ruled by his older brother, the King Madale. The belief of our ancestors can be generalized from the story of Prince Bantugan, because in the story, King Madale went to heaven to take back the soul of his deceased brother and put it back into the body of Prince Bantugan so that he will be able to live again or be resurrected. This situation showed the belief of our ancestors. The epic of Bantugan originates from Mindanao. The story of the good Prince Bantugan has an ancient setting. It could be medieval if you prefer that, but in this case, it would be an Islamic kingdom. It was a time when people battled with swords and spears to settle disputes between kingdoms. The Darangan features several locals, but the principal setting is the grand city of Bumbaran. The set of the kingdom of Bumbaran bring near a great river, as could be described. Well, the Darangan does not have a single author, but it is rather a collection of tales passed down orally from generation to generation. But the author of the story of the good Prince Bantugan is Brian Solis Bantugan, and is a graduate of the UP College of Mass Communications doctoral program. We will move forward to the characters of the story and their attribution. We have the main character, Prince Bantugan. He is a great warrior who died and resurrected. We also have King Madale, the jealous brother of Prince Bantugan and the one who ruled over the kingdom of Bumbaran. We also have Princess Timbang. She is the princess who fell in love with Prince Bantugan and the one who found and brought back Bantugan to the kingdom of Bumbaran. We also have the king between two seas. He is the brother of Princess Timbang and the one who helped Princess Timbang to bring back Prince Bantugan to the kingdom of Bumbaran. We have the last character, the parrot, the one who is the messenger between the two kingdoms, the kingdom of Bumbaran and the kingdom between two seas. So now, let us watch and listen to the story of the good Prince Bantugan, the most notable Filipino hero myth.
The story of the good Prince Bantugan. An old king ruled over the kingdom of Bumbaran. His kingdom was prosperous, his people were good, and he should have been very happy. But the king was not contented. His heart was full of envy towards his younger brother, Prince Bantugan. Every time someone praised Prince Bantugan, the king frowned and looked angry. Prince Bantugan is so handsome, he often heard other women. Prince Bantugan is so good, other people said. And the king grew angrier because he knew that he was not as good as his brother either. The king grew tired of people saying so many good things about his brother, while they said nothing nice about himself. One day, enemies attacked the kingdom of Bumbaran, and Prince Bantugan led his men to defend the country. While he was gone, the evil king plotted against the good prince. He issued a proclamation that no one should speak to Prince Bantugan. He added that whoever dared to speak to Bantugan would be killed. Soon, Prince Bantugan returned victorious from the battle. To his astonishment, no one met him, no one praised him, and no one even spoke to him. This saddened the good prince. He knew that his brother hated him so much, so he decided to leave the kingdom of Bumbaran. In his travels, he heard about the beautiful land of the kingdom between two seas. It was ruled by a good king and his sister, the beautiful and kind Princess Datimbang. He traveled through the forests and across rivers and mountains, and at last reached the kingdom between two seas. Prince Bantugan was very weary from his travels. As he stood outside the gates of the great palace, he suddenly felt very weak. His legs could not carry his body, and the prince fell to the ground and died. When the king of the kingdom between two seas heard of the stranger who had died at his palace gate, he and his sister Princess Datimbang went to see the body. Even in death, Prince Bantugan was very handsome. The heart of Princess Datimbang went out to him in love and sorrow. "What a handsome young man," she said, weeping softly. "I wish I could have spoken to him before he died. I am sure he was so good as he was handsome." "How unfortunate that he should die here," the king said. "Does anyone know who this young man is and where he came from? By his clothes and appearance, he must be a king or a prince." No one knew who the strange young man was. The king ordered the body to be brought into the palace. The king was afraid that the relatives or subjects of the dead man might wage war upon his kingdom. He therefore treated the body of the young man as he would a royal person. He had dressed it in magnificent clothes and placed it in a large hall in the palace. Princess Datimbang placed flowers upon the bed on which the body lay. She also decorated it with colored jewelry. Around the bed was an abundance of fragrant flowers in jars and vases. The king ordered the great brass going to be sounded. He made a proclamation that all his people of the neighboring kingdoms must come to look at the prince or king so that he would know who he was and where he came from. People from far and near came to see the body, but no one knew who the man was. The beautiful Princess Datimbang watched the nearby. She had fallen deeply in love with the handsome stranger. In another parts of the kingdom, some parrots were talking about the young man and how he died in the kingdom between two seas. Suddenly, they noticed that the parrot from the kingdom of Bumbaran was silent and sad. "Why are you sad, my brother?" one of the parrots asked. "I lost my master, the Prince Bantugan." The parrot from Bumbaran answered, "He left Bumbaran and never returned. I have looked for him everywhere but have not found him." "Ah, your master is lost indeed," another parrot said. "He is dead, but you can see his body in the palace, where he is lying in royal state." Without another word, Prince Bantugan's parrot flew to the palace. He saw his master's body and shrieked in grief. Princess the Timbang heard him and asked him what the matter was. "My master is dead," the parrot cried in grief. "My master Prince Bantugan is dead. He who was so good to his people. He defended them in war. He gave them wise advice when they were in trouble and cured the people when they were sick." When the king heard what the parrot had said, he was determined to put the body on a venta and take it himself with all honors to the kingdom of Bumbaran. Princess Titimbang went with him. Before the royal party left the kingdom between two seas, the princess asked the parrot to go ahead of them and notify the king of Bumbaran of their coming. The parrot flew ahead to the kingdom of Bumbaran. When he told the king about the death of Prince Bantugan, the ladies shrieked and tore their hair and fainted. Everyone grieved for the good Prince Bantugan. Even the king, his brother, was strict with remorse and pain. He was full of repentance. He blamed himself for the death of his brother. He didn't know what to do. Prince Madali was a brother of Prince Bantugan and loved him dearly. He volunteered to go to the region of the dead and bring Bantugan's soul back to his body. The king decided to go with him. It was a very dangerous journey, but the two were not afraid. They on their magic shields and rode up to the sky for 5 days and flew. They reached the place of lightning, thunder, and endless rain. So great was the distance that they went on for 5 more days. At last, they reached the highest portals of the sky. So the two flew to the second gate and were stopped by the guard there. The two entered and found themselves in a beautiful garden full of fragrant flowers and delicious fruits. On a large table were bottles of different colors which contained the souls of the dead. The two tricked the angel of the death to go out for a minute. As soon as the angel was out of the room, Prince Madali whispered softly, "Bantugan, my brother, where are you?" From a large bottle near them, the voice of Prince Bantugan answered, "I am here." Prince Madali seized the bottle away. The young man flew back to earth. When they reached the place, the kingdom and the princess of the kingdom between two seas were just landing with the body of Prince Bantugan. Prince Madali transferred the soul of Prince Bantugan from the bottle to his body. The bottle stirred. Then Prince Bantugan sat up and stretched out as if just awakening from a deep sleep. The people shouted with joy. For many days, they celebrated the return of their beloved Prince Bantugan. Later, the prince married the beautiful Princess the Timbang.
That would be all about my report. Thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye, guys.